Live from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into NCAA Division II men's soccer coverage, streaming exclusively on Flow College. Today's East Coast Conference matchup features the College of Staten Island Dolphins hosting the Queens College Knights on Senior Day. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Foreman, once again joined on the call by Nicholas Bavona. And Nick, as we did during our women's game, let's take a look at where CSI men's soccer stands in the East Coast Conference playoff picture.
Well, Joe, compared to the women's side, you have 9 teams on the men's side in the ECC as opposed to those 8. Top 6 still make the playoffs, though, in the conference. The Dolphins are 0-3-1 in the ECC, 1 point on the season. They are right now in 8th place, but with a win today, they could propel themselves into 6th place. Queens comes into this day 4-0-1 in the ECC, 13 points on the year. They're the top team in the conference, and they've been receiving votes towards a regional ranking too. So a tough opponent for the Dolphins today. After today, the Dolphins will have 3 conference matches remaining to have a chance of reaching the playoffs without a win over the Knights. The Dolphins would more than likely need to win 2 of the remaining 3 games against UDC, Mercy, and Damon. If they win today, their chances of a playoff berth drastically increase. All 3 of those teams left on CSI's schedule are currently in 4th or below in the ECC standings, with Damon sitting at 0 points at 0-4. If CSI wins at least one more match before November 1st, the final game of the regular season could decide their playoff fate. We've seen that a couple of times at different sports, Joe, with the last game of the season being a potential win-and-in scenario. We could very well see it again here today.
We'll talk a bit more about the postseason and the implications of this match a bit later, but we are going to throw it down to field level now for our Senior Day presentation.
Totaling an impressive 3,810 minutes on the pitch. Head coach Donato shared his appreciation, saying he is always there for the team, his teammates, and the coaching staff. His senior season has been outstanding, and we wish him nothing but the best in his future. Luis will graduate at the end of the spring semester with a bachelor's degree in business with a concentration in management, and is joined on the field today by his mom, dad, and his girlfriend. Ladies and gentlemen, number 5, Luis Asensio Cueva.
Hello. How you doing?
Our next senior is a graduate student who joined the men's soccer program ahead of the 2024 season. In just 2 years, he made a significant impression on the field, appearing in 20 games with 19 starts and totaling 1,425 minutes of play. Though his time with the Dolphins was brief, his professionalism and positivity left a lasting impression and elevated the team every day. Head coach Donato shared, the team was lucky to have such an amazing player and a fantastic person with us for 2 years. Beta will be graduating with a master's degree in business management with a concentration in large-scale data analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, number 8, Beta Mesrar. Our next senior joined the Dolphins this season and immediately made an impact. He appeared in 10 games, starting all of them, and quickly became known for his quality, passion, and relentless work ethic that helped elevate the team on the field. This fall, he scored his first goal in a Dolphins uniform on October 9th against Goldie Beacom and totaled 861 minutes of play. Head coach Donato shared, we were lucky to have him here at CSI for his final year of college soccer, and we wish him the very best in all his future success. Ty will be graduating with his second bachelor's degree in history, and he is joined on the field today by his mom and dad. Ladies and gentlemen, number 4, Ty Torres. Our final senior is a graduate student who joined the Dolphins this season, hailing all the way from Aberdeen, Scotland. In 8 appearances this year, he recorded 1 goal for 2 points and logged 720 minutes on the field. He has been recognized as a tremendous leader both on and off the pitch. Head coach Donato shared his professionalism, passion, and work ethic brought a new mindset to the men's soccer program. He set an example for the next generation of student athletes. Matthew graduated with honors from Davenport University and will be graduating from CSI with a master's degree in business management with a concentration in strategic management. Ladies and gentlemen, number 6, Matthew Beaton.
Ahora este año para allá. Esos moños rojos, negros, blancos. ¿Quieres rojos? No,
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Bavona back with you from Dolphin Soccer Park as we have just concluded our Senior Day presentation ahead of today's game between the College of Staten Island and Queens College. And Nick, during the open to our pregame coverage, we mentioned what this game means in terms of playoff implications for these two sides, at the very least for the Dolphins. But with plenty at stake in terms of the postseason, the Dolphins need to take it one game at a time the rest of the way. I think the most important thing you said, without saying it directly, is that this team controls their own playoff fate. That's really all you can ask for down the stretch, and though they have a tough matchup today, a win can really energize a playoff push for this CSI squad. However, even if you lose, there is still plenty on the line next week against UDC and Mercy. The team is certainly not in must-win territory yet, but the margin for error is just about gone if they can't shock the Knights this afternoon and pick up a win. And Nick, just as we did ahead of the women's game, we had the men's team celebrate their seniors. Tell us a bit about some of the Dolphins who were just recognized.
Two of our first-year Dolphins, Ty Torres and Matthew Beaton, were just celebrated. Each have scored a goal from their position on defense. Torres has started all 10 games for the Dolphins this season. Beaton has started 9. Second-year Dolphin, Bader Mesrar, has started 13 games and has registered an assist last season before appearing in 7 more this season. He's among the team leaders in shots each of the last 2 years. And then finally, Joe, our 4-year senior, Luis Asensio Cueva, 2 assists on defense and will surpass 4,000 minutes for his Dolphins career this season. Over 50 games played and over 40 starts in his career. One of only 2 current Dolphins who has been with the program for more than 2 seasons, the other being William Lopez.
So the Dolphins celebrating their seniors moments ago, and just about time to meet the starters ahead of today's game. So once again, we will throw at the public address, and for some of you, you will hear from our friends over at Flow College and some of their sponsors. We'll be right back on the other side of this break with kickoff between the Dolphins and the Knights.
Sophomore from Bergen, Norway, number 8, Bastian Angelis. A junior from Madrid, Spain, number 10, Miguel Soto Gonzalez. A graduate student from Westport, Ireland, number 11, Killian Heaney. A redshirt junior from Buenos Aires, Argentina, number 17, Tommy Gunn. A redshirt sophomore from Port Jefferson Station, New York, number 19, Ryan Harding. A redshirt freshman from Medellin, Colombia, number 23, Carlos Villa. A freshman from Lindenhurst, New York, number 24, Braden Brown. A sophomore from Kew Gardens, New York, number 26, Cleverson Bolanos. And in goal, a redshirt sophomore from the coach of Cyprus, number 30, Thanasis Shahade. The Knights are coached by Fred Bertolo, and his assistant coaches are Vincent Companion, David Ramirez, and Giovanni Cruz. And now, the starting lineup for your CSI Dolphins. Graduate student from Staten Island, New York, number 4, Ty Torres. Senior from Baldwin, New York, number 5, Luis Asensio Cueva. Graduate student from Aberdeen, Scotland, number 6, Matt Beaton. Sophomore from Brooklyn, New York, number 7, Farai Arslan. Graduate student from Tangier, Morocco, number 8, Bader Mesrar. Junior from Brooklyn, New York, number 10, William Lopez. Sophomore from Rome, number 16, Nicolo Cimini. Sophomore from Brooklyn, New York, number 18, Peterson LaRose. A freshman from New York, number 25, Felice Atanda. A freshman from Staten Island, New York, number 29, Kareem Madito. And in goal, a junior from Santo Domingo, number 30, Carlos Romero Estacia. The Dolphins are coached by Donald Kirchie and his assistants are Michael Marr and Will Reed. The NCAA and the College of Staten Island promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Any profanity, racial, or sexist comments or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the field. Any use or consumption of alcoholic beverages or tobacco products is prohibited. CSI would like to thank all its corporate sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings, TLC Physical Therapy, Jimmy Max, Kettle Black, Cobra, McDonald's, and Richmond University Medical Center.
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Bavona back with you from the College of Staten Island, just moments away from kickoff between the Dolphins and the Knights here on CSI Sportsnet. And Nick, there's a lot of buzz here in Dolphin Soccer Park today, and you often see that on Senior Day, and perhaps even more so when the team is facing their CUNY rival in Queens College. So let's talk about the Knights very quickly before kickoff. Currently, top team in the ECC. We mentioned that already. They've not only won plenty, but they've done so convincingly, and they've managed to be extremely efficient on the attack all season. What has this Knights squad done so well, and what kind of challenge do they present for the Dolphins?
Well, if you look at the Knights team in terms of their stats, Joe, 34 goals scored while only allowing just 12 on the season. That's over 2.6 goals per game on average while allowing less than 1 goal. 200 shots already in 13 matches, 113 on target, 15 shots per game on an average, and 17% shots percentage as well. 3 players with at least 5 goals as well on the season, which is really putting them at a good advantage in this scheme. They're led by Braden Brown with 7 goals, Harry Cook and Miguel Soto Gonzalez with 5 goals each. Then you have Thanasis Shiade, who is saving nearly 80% of the shots he has faced, allowing just 0.86 goals per game. 3 backs who have started at least 12 games together as well: Carlos Villa, Cillian Heaney, and Tommy Wagner.
You mentioned in goal for Queens is Thanasis Shahada. The rest of their starters in numerical order: Wagner, Johnson, and Jelly, Soto Gonzalez, Heaney, Gunn, Harding, Villa, Brown, and Bolanos. For the Dolphins, Romero Estacio in goal. The rest of their starters: Torres, Asensio Cueva, Beaton, Arslan, Mesrar, Lopez, Chamini, LaRose, Atanga, and Medito.
To apologize for mispronouncing that last name a few moments ago.
It happens.
Trying to find the name on the roster, but missed that the last
I
second.
will say this is a great pronunciation
Yes.
guide. Nav over at Queens does a great job. Very well organized, very easy to pick up. And do not adjust your live stream. This is the Dolphins and the Knights. Next door, they were commenting to me that taking a look at these kits felt an awful lot like FC Barcelona versus
it does,
Argentina.
yeah.
FC Barcelona and Argentina is what I was told next door.
It does look like that.
I'm glad Stephanie shared with me that nugget because I would not have come up with that myself.
I think NYCFC also has the same color kit that the Dolphins have, the light powder blues. I think at least.
I like the nice dark numbers on the back of the powder blue uniform, nice
Yeah.
and easy to discern. Same for Queens. I think I even prefer the bright white digit on the dark kit.
Yeah. You and I big fans of jerseys from all sports, and
I don't have much of a choice, Nick. I have to make a living. I love the work we do, but let's just say that
you're a man of many trades. As I like.
let's just say that the real money is not made in sports commentary. We'll put it that way. All the fun is had
Yes.
with the commentary, but not enough to live on.
I should have taken a picture of the amount of boxes you had yesterday before we made our way to football.
If you thought that was something.
I'm sure there's been worse,
The,
or
the
maybe
big-
not worse.
the
but,
biggest day ever was 80 packages dropped.
80.
80.
How'd you do that?
I had a lot of envelopes and a lot of small boxes.
Oh, okay. So it's not.
So it wasn't
Yeah.
80 full-sized
Because
boxes.
mostly it's hats and
hats,
stuff like that.
T-shirts,
Yeah.
even jerseys fit into very small boxes.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the Knights have earned a free kick. They move that one up a bit. We'll see if they send them back. Indeed, they will.
This will be Soto Gonzalez.
A lot of history between these two teams. However, it has been all Knights since the Dolphins went Division II. That one sent into the box, headed into the air. Still loose, and Romero Estacio is there to grab it. Dolphins do have some number changes today. I don't believe any of those players are out there yet. Ball sent into the midfield, volley back the other way. Dolphins will throw. You touched on it, Nick, when we opened the pregame, but in case any of our audience missed it, this game not a must-win for men's soccer. They do not have to have this game. However, if they do not win this game, I think they have to go 2 out of 3 in terms of victories the rest of the way. I don't think there's any way around that if they don't win this one.
It's not an easy task.
And there's a big takeaway in front and a huge stop by Romero Estacio. The Dolphins give it away in the 18, and their goalkeeper comes up with a massive stop.
It was almost giveth away right there, as you mentioned, taketh. And thankfully for the Dolphins, Romero made an unbelievable stop to keep the Knights from off the scoreboard.
Dolphins give it away the ball. Romero Estacio taketh away a goal off the scoreboard. That is completely incorrect, but had to do it. I had to follow up.
Yeah, I was trying to term it right. I didn't sound right, but thankfully.
Corner punched away, and it'll bounce over the opposite sideline.
You knew what I was trying to get at.
I knew what you were getting at. It's okay. I would say our verbal mastery is usually on point.
Yeah.
Usually.
Well, if it's anything like last time when you were
Now-
trying to rhyme a lot of words.
Well, we were feeling ourselves in the second half with
You
60
were.
points on the board.
You were.
All right, I got a verbal conundrum question for you.
Oh, God.
What is the proper name of this facility? Is it Dolphin Soccer Park, no S, or Dolphins Soccer Park?
I would say Dolphin Soccer Park.
So S,
No S.
no S. Now, are we the Dolphin or the Dolphins?
We are the Dolphins. I get it.
It's tough because saying Dolphins Soccer Park, it kind of just rolls into the word soccer. You can't really hear it.
Right.
But Dolphin Soccer Park, let's see how I scripted it. I scripted it with the S
Okay.
because we are the Dolphins. We are not the CSI Dolphin. I think it has to be plural.
Do you fear the fin, though?
I think I'm one with the Finn at this point. If you dig back, this is many years ago, but if you dig back in the spring of 2020 when I was in charge of the social media, you'll find a very interesting GIF of Danny the Dolphin with a lightsaber emerging from a tidal wave. Came out really good. I was so proud of it. But I released it on May the 4th.
Okay.
And I said, Danny is in the tank becoming one with the Force. That one volleyed in the air by Beaton back toward the midfield. I wonder if you go on X, if you could search it and it would come up.
I could try.
Just type in CSI Dolphins, Danny, like one with the Force. See if it comes up. The post is probably over 5 years old now. Some of my proudest work. Free kick Staten
Is
Island at the
this?
midfield stripe. Yep.
Got it.
That was quick. That is pretty cool, though, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I am more visually creative than I
Tell
give
you what,
myself
if
credit for.
if you played that GIF in front of some opposing teams coming here to CSI, they might not want to play the Dolphins.
Yeah. Dolphins looking to work it up the far side. Ball stays in along the touch line. Queens retreating back to get it. They'll play it onto the foot of Shahada, who sends it into the midfield. And a big header by Medito and a bigger collision.
I was going to say, there's got to be a foul there, Joe.
Yeah. Lopez got hit hard on that one.
The Fanatics were roaring after that sequence right there that we just had.
They were basking in the physicality of those last few exchanges. It's going to be a free kick for the Dolphins, and the women's team had a free kick in a very similar spot early in their game against Queens. Turned out to be their best opportunity.
Yeah. And as we mentioned, at some point, maybe during this broadcast, we can maybe get a update on the Stack and Deauville women's game. That game hasn't kicked off yet because we did start our game early. So we'll see.
Now, I wouldn't do this as Mesrar sends one ahead to LaRose. LaRose shot bends wide. I mean, technically you and I are on flow. So at halftime, during the break, could we make our feed that game? I could very easily pull the video
Oh,
in
on
and
your
add it as a camera
monitor?
input. Yeah, I could.
Yeah, you could.
We could pull it off a phone and put it in
Yeah, you
and
could.
air it. I wouldn't put my phone in there, but
Is that because you don't want to, or you
well,
think
that's
some-
because if I'm without my phone for more than a few minutes, it could be very costly.
Yeah,
You know, always working, Nick.
yeah, of course.
Me and my iPhone 17 Pro are attached at the hip. Literally. So can you be attached at the hip if the phone is an inanimate object? You get the point.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
get the point. Arslan looking to play Cimini through to the corner. Cimini gets there, has some room, could look to cross, could look to shoot, and his pass for LaRose was broken up.
I like the idea though, there, Joe. Instead of going for the cross, he wanted to go up the middle of the pitch and try to get that pass towards one of the attacking Dolphins there. But a good defensive play right there by the Knights. But it does award the Dolphins maybe towards in the corner. We'll see if it's a throw-in or not.
I think it was a throw-in. I don't think it rolled anywhere near the corner. But Ty Torres is headed over there, and he is very capable of a long throw.
It's going to be a throw.
And it's a long one. Right into the hands of Shahada. 35-30 to go. First half. Dolphins and Knights scoreless. We're still waiting for our first goal of the day,
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah. That's a good point.
We expected a defensive battle in our first game, given the numbers for the two teams this year. Maybe after what you saw on Wednesday, perhaps you thought could be a bit of a higher scoring game. Last year it was 4-2 between the Dolphins and the Knights. But for the most part, the two teams have been limited to a goal or none in many matches this year. There's a real breakout effort for the Dolphins on Wednesday. Chance here, perhaps, for a long throw by Queens. Wagner is certainly going to get behind this one. It's a very long throw headed away by the Dolphins. Wagner now may look to cross, instead works into the box, and it's cleared away by the Dolphins. Ball tracked down in the midfield by Heaney. Heaney moving forward. Quick pass. Did find the foot of Angeli, but he couldn't keep it. Mesrar, short pass LaRose. LaRose toward the center of the pitch, still moving. Looking to play Arslan through. He goes down,
Yeah, the
and
Dolphins.
that will draw the whistle.
Yeah. Knights obviously going to contend that he had really no play on the ball right there, but
Still can't take him down.
yeah.
I don't think they had any chance of connecting on that ball. I'm not even sure he had a chance to win on that run. But he was effectively tossed down between three Knights.
You see right there.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't need to do it. I'm not sure how much contact there was. You can understand the protest, but Dolphins on the positive end of that whistle, and they line up for a free kick from a bit closer this time.
Curious to see who takes the shot.
It will be LaRose, and it looked to be a bit wide of the frame, easily stopped by Shahada anyway. Knights working up the near side. Villa got tangled up with Atanga. Continuing forward is Soto Gonzalez toward the touchline, and his cross was broken up by Beaton.
Nice play right there by the senior. And as we talked about in the women's game, you know, the importance of senior day for a lot of these players. You're trying to win today, of course, would be a monumental way considering the season that Queens has had. But to keep your, you know, your opportunity at the playoffs still alive as well, try and extend those senior careers as well too. Goes into there's a lot of, you know, storylines going into this game.
You have to feel pretty good anytime you can get a win against FC Barcelona.
Okay.
Now that it was mentioned to me, I
Yeah,
can't see
I
it,
can't
Nick.
see it, yeah.
Can't see it. Knights work it across the midfield stripe. Villa able to connect with Gunn. Gunn tangled up with Lopez. Play
ball.
on, and the Knights don't like it. A lot of animated reactions as the
Yeah.
ball heads toward the box. And it was headed out of play by Gunn. Goal kick Staten Island. We have another look, Nick?
I'm sure some of the Queens contingent is not happy about this. We'll see the play right there.
Yeah, it's a foul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
We
there's
actually
much
might
question.
have a look at it on the close-up angle, too.
We might, you're right.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll get a closer look in a minute. Once the ball goes out of play.
I'll slow it down, too.
Yeah, Lopez is good as anyone in keeping his center of gravity low and making a play on that ball with his body effectively pressed up on the turf. Not that time, it appeared. Let's see from closer. Yeah, he definitely caught the leg before he reached the ball.
Yeah.
31 minutes to go in the half. No score between the Dolphins and the Knights. Queens taking their time, building out of the back. Wagner. Short pass toward the sideline. Center of the pitch now. Coming back to get it was Angeli. Harding able to connect with Bolanos. Dolphins take it away in the midfield. Here comes Lopez. Now LaRose. LaRose taking his time, working toward the end line now. Puts the brakes on, looked to cross. It was broken up. Queens accelerating toward the near side. Quick turn by Gunn. He plays it ahead for Soto Gonzalez. Beaten there defensively. Beaten, strong tackle, and he has the ball. Second strong challenge by Beaton. One came on the slide along the end line. Good strong tackle there. Ball with Queens in the midfield once again. Under 30 minutes to play in the half. This is Villa. Short pass for Soto Gonzalez. He works through a couple of Dolphins, but Lopez comes away with possession. Mesrar back to Beaton. Beaton turns toward his own goal. Romero Estacio there waiting. That ball sent toward midfield, met by Queens. First two, it was Heaney, but the Dolphins control once again. Cimini back to Beaton. Beaton working forward. Connects. Lopez. Back to Mesrar. Mesrar across midfield. Looking to play it toward the corner. Torres making a run. He does get to it. Heaney right there with him. Torres looking for space. Can't find any. That stays in along the touchline. The Dolphins didn't think so, but they do have it back. Mesrar had it knocked away. Mesrar a second time was met by Angeli. And Mesrar making a run now toward the 18. Down he goes. And again, it's play on. Mesrar getting up a bit slowly as the Knights nearly gave it away. Mesrar has it. He's moving in. He shoots. And making the stop was Shahada.
Yeah, the officials seem to be letting the last couple minutes play on. Not a lot of whistles being blown so far, but well, right on point. Right on cue as a whistle.
Yeah, I think
Jake
Mesrar is a
yeah.
bit shaken up after that challenge. And they'll give him some time. The clock is still running at about 27:50.
There's that last shot by Mesrar as well.
I think it was Arslan who got that all started. He came sprinting back to interrupt a Queens pass. And then from there, the Dolphins were able to generate what is their first shot on goal by Mesrar. I don't think the Knights like that stoppage. I think that non-call at the other end may have ignited a bit of a fire under Queens, and they were rightfully upset. work it up the near side now. Milano short pass. Now on the foot of Johnson. Again, Milanos moving forward. Dolphins again have the takeaway. LaRose in some trouble. Lopez for Mesrar, dangerous pass there. And Lopez is whistled for the foul this time.
Yeah, it's a tough one right there because Lopez was about to set something up the middle of the pitch right there, but that late whistle will award a free kick here for the Knights.
26:20 to go in the half. Queens setting up for a free kick. Lined up over the ball, Harding and Soto Gonzalez. Queens taking their time, getting set here. Players lined up wide of the far post, working their way in. The ball headed that way, but too long. Harmless free kick there. Dolphins will take the goal kick. Ball sent up the pitch into the midfield, headed back the other way by Queens. Quick volley there by Johnson. And it's taken briefly before a foul is committed. Gun taken down. The advantage was being played there. I think it was Medito on the challenge.
You could see it, Joe. These last couple of minutes have been getting very chippy between the two teams.
That is in part a product of the officials letting them play, and I've always said I prefer calling that kind of game. I'm not sure that the benches appreciate that.
No.
But we will see what comes of that moving forward. I think as a player, when you know you're being given a bit more leniency, those challenges get a bit harder. Knights once again taking some time to set up this free kick. The clock has been stopped. Free kick on the way. LaRose right there in the path of it, heads it into the midfield. Dolphins looking to counter quickly. Lopez looking for Cimini. Cimini toward Arslan and cleared away by Villa. Dolphins will throw as that clearance was sent all the way back into the midfield. Gone everywhere right now, harassing the Dolphins. This is Cimini for LaRose, who has some room. LaRose played into some space, working his way into the 18, looking for a lane. His shot was blocked. LaRose has a lane now. LaRose on goal, and he scores! Peterson LaRose beating several Knights on his way to the first goal of this match.
Joe, that was disgusting. Absolutely filthy what LaRose just did right there.
His initial attempt was blocked by the sliding challenge, and LaRose was not deterred.
Look at the footwork right here. Dancing around the defenders, getting past the goalie, and giving the Dolphins an early 1-0 lead.
A bleacher-rattling score for Peterson LaRose has put the Dolphins in front 1-0, 24:11 to go in this first half.
And we talked about what the importance of this game means for this Dolphins team to get out to an early 1-0 lead. You and I spoke about this the last game too. How huge is it to get up early in this game 1-0? Now you have that goal advantage. Now you're trying to hold on to it for the remainder of this game.
I think when you get an early goal against the top team in the conference, a team that you haven't beaten in many, many years, the last Dolphins win over Queens 40 years ago in 1985. They then met again in 87. That was a 13-0 Knights win. Since the Dolphins went Division II with a full Division II schedule in 2021, They are 0-5 against Queens, 1-0, 4-0, 2-1, 2-1, and 6-2 last year. It's a Knights program that has had a lot of success in recent memory, plenty this year as well. And you know they're not going to go down quietly with so much time left. Queens with it in the midfield, working toward the far side. Ball sent down toward the corner. Gunn, the nearest attacker, and Torres concedes the corner.
And we've seen that also this year from LaRose. How many times have we seen LaRose get to that spot in the pitch where he gets around the defenders, puts a shot on, and even if he doesn't get the initial shot, he's able to score on the second opportunity.
We've seen his versatility as an attacker so many times. Great dribbler, great finisher, dangerous off the set piece as well. Gives this Dolphins team so much, and he's made a big impact since his arrival. Keep in mind, this is just his second season.
Yeah.
That one headed toward goal, beaten, directing it toward the top of the box. Cimini with a nice volley, and back there waiting is Harding, who wisely clears it and gives his teammates some time to regroup. And you felt it all day, Nick. This Dolphin partial crowd here at CSI, they were hungry for a goal. And very easily, off of that early giveaway, the Knights could have put a big damper on senior day had they finished and been able to score off the turnover in front of Romero Stasio. They do not score, and now it is the Dolphins who have struck first. A lot of life in this crowd, a lot of life in the CSI bench. And the Dolphins, if they could pull off a win in this one, completely change the complexion of these final 2 weeks in the regular season.
Yeah, because even if you get the win today, right? You know, we talked about this also in the women's game. You want to control your destiny at the end of the day. If the Dolphins get the win today, that goes a tremendous way for the remainder of their season. And you have a chance now at the end of the year where you can, if you get those wins, then you are for sure going to make the postseason.
We mentioned it during the pregame. Should the Dolphins win, they could move into a tie for sixth at best. Deauville 1-3-1. I believe that is now updated with the result of their game against Stack. So they stay at 4 points. The Dolphins could move into a tie for sixth at best if they win this game. They would leapfrog Malloy perhaps, and they would certainly remain in front of Damon, of course, if they win. This ball sent into the box, headed away by Torres, and Cimini able to get it over to Asensio Cueva. And speaking of Luis Asensio Cueva, we touched on it during the pregame. One of our seniors today, a four-year senior. It's really hard to believe that on this entire roster, unless I'm mistaken, certainly possible, but I don't believe there's a Dolphin who's been with this program for more than 2 seasons outside of Asensio Cueva and William Lopez.
Yeah.
Hopefully I didn't cut anybody short a year.
Hopefully not.
But I'm pretty sure that's right. I gave it a good look yesterday. But you know me, I always second-guess myself.
You always like to double-check and stuff. It's
Exactly.
understandable.
I double-check everything except my spelling. Dolphins with it now in the midfield. Pass intercepted by Queens. They have kicked off in Buffalo. Big women's soccer match that Nick and I promised we were going to have our eye on. And I think for the CSI women, they're in a spot where they almost have to have a Spartans victory in that game. Otherwise, it becomes really, really tough to make the postseason. Meanwhile, in the men's game in Buffalo, it was 7-0 Stack over Deauville. That was the final in that one. A couple of night substitutions. Andy Kasha and Jason Udu into the game. Now, Nick, double O-D-O. That is technically Udu, correct?
I was going to answer that, Joe. I
It
didn't-
is spelled Udo.
Well, the reason why I didn't answer is because I don't think you noticed it. They had an extra man on the field, so they had to or pitchers. I got away with it at that time, but
That's okay.
they did have an extra man on the pitch, so they had to stop play for a second. I thought I heard it from the Dolphins coaches, and then I wanted to make sure that was the exact thing that they were looking at.
I think they announced Andrew Johnson into the game as well.
Believe so, but going back to your question, what was the exact thing? Because I was trying
So
to pay attention to that.
OODO. If you're reading that off a pronunciation guide, I think that is technically Udo, but I believe the intention was Udo. D-O.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Get what I'm saying?
hmm
I think it's Udo. But you know me, stickler for the details.
Yeah.
Trying to get a live stats update for the game in Buffalo. Trying to pull that up now. The Wi-Fi, very poor. The wired internet, excellent.
I could probably pull it up on my phone, worst case.
I'm getting the pinwheel of death.
Don't like to see that.
No.
Might be nice bright colors, but it doesn't mean anything good.
Dolphins will throw here.
Let me see if I can get it.
Still early in that game, but
Yeah.
we'd like to have that score in front of us. Dolphin fans would be interested anyway.
Of course.
Dolphins kept that in along the touchline just barely. Let me know if you have any luck, Nick.
Will do.
We have 17 minutes to go in this first half. CSI over Queens 1-0. Short throw for Arslan. Played back right at Torres. Mesrar being pressured.
Scoreless so far in that game.
Scoreless.
They did just 9 minutes in.
Yeah, draw doesn't do the Dolphins much good in terms of the conference standings.
Does it hurt them if that game ties too, I'm assuming?
Yes,
Yeah,
because
Deauville just needs a point at least.
if Deauville picks up a point out of that game, they remain tied with the Dolphins in the standings.
But have the
and
tiebreaker.
They have the tiebreaker,
Right.
correct. So draw doesn't help them much. It's definitely better than a Saints win
Yeah.
from the perspective of the Dolphins.
Dolphin fans put on their Spartan hats at this point.
I think, well, is it a hat or a helmet?
You can go with either or.
I think it has to be a
Probably.
Spartan helmet.
Yeah.
Now, if any of our fanatics owned a Spartan helmet, I might be a bit concerned. I'd have to ask. Why
Well,
do
you might.
own
Well,
this?
you might have a. With Halloween around the corner, you might have a Halloween costume.
Yeah, I'm not a Halloween guy. I've
You
t-
never
you've
did-
met my sister once before. We
Yes.
could not be more different. Halloween is her favorite time of the year. I'm not sure there's a time of the year that I dislike more.
So you never went trick or treating? Nothing.
Yeah, as a kid, you don't know better, Nick. But now, as an older, wiser
Nah,
adult,
Okay.
as an older, wiser adult with a lot of gray hair and the wisdom that comes with it, I am not at all a fan of Halloween. It's one of the perks of being on the 4th floor of an apartment building. No one's ringing
That's
my
true.
doorbell.
Yeah, that's
Nobody's
true.
ringing my doorbell.
True.
You know, Nick, I'm the commissioner of the NFL, the No Fun League. There's a ball into the box, into the hands of Shahada.
I think this is the first year I'm dressing up in a costume in almost a decade, I think.
The closest I've come to being costumed outside of my very early childhood, so like, I'd say the last time I went trick-or-treating was probably, let's say age 11, 12 at most.
I stopped around that time too, but it would be like one of those, senior things for high school where they tell you, oh, if you want to dress up in a costume, you can. And everyone obviously did it. So I think I went as Jackie Moon from Semi-Pro that year.
I think once you're self-aware enough to ask the question, am I too old to be doing this? You're too old to be doing it. And I reached that point much younger than most. And I don't know what led to that. Maybe just environmental, who knows. But like, I'm 10 years old and I used to own a lot of action figures. And I was playing with action figures at 10 years old as the Knights have a takeaway here and a shot blocked by Torres. He had no idea that was coming.
You hear The block shot from up here.
That was a loud thud. I'll finish story time after this attacking play from the Knights. Queens with it in the attacking third, looking for some room, and it
A
ends up
deflection by LaRose.
back in the midfield. LaRose trying to control, but couldn't take it away from Harding. Long story short, Nick, I'm 10 years old playing with action figures. You look at that from the outside, and a 10-year-old playing with action figures, that's completely normal. When I'm 10 years old, I'm thinking, am I too old to be playing with action figures? That's the kind of kid I was. I was a bit unusual.
If you have those thoughts, then you know the answer.
I was a bit unusual. I grew up perfectly normal, right? I can't help but notice you didn't answer the question.
No comment.
No comment.
No comment.
Well, you know who hires and fires here.
Yeah, I might. I'll just keep my mouth shut.
There you go. Free kick here for the Knights.
At least I will say for Halloween, you'll be happy to know I did win a costume one time dressed up as Rey Mysterio.
Okay. The most recent costume I can think of, and I was about to mention it before the ball ended up in the box before at the other end. I'll mention that. It actually is relevant to CSI, so I can shoehorn that in. But we await the free kick here. Soto Gonzalez lined up over the ball. Puts one on the ground. Dolphins may have gotten a piece of that on the way in as well.
Sounded like it.
But the last time I was in anything resembling costume is actually on video. We were filming the coaches show at Hobra. You've seen the clip.
Yeah.
And I was interviewing women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone. We were doing a this or that segment, and the last question was trick or treat. So off camera, I then put on the Joker's bank robbery mask from The Dark Knight. And when she answered, admittedly in a scripted fashion, trick, I had the mask on as that cross is broken up. Who says I'm not creative?
Hey, maybe dress up as Danny the Dolphin this year.
I will not.
You could do the Spider-Man meme with him.
Do we have two costumes?
You'll probably find one. Maybe.
We'll do the meme, and only my head will be in the shot since we don't have multiple suits. We'll have multiple Dolphin heads.
Yeah.
Corner kick on the way toward the back post, headed straight down, and played on a bounce by Romero Estacio.
Good job by Estacio right there to at least wait, because it looked like initially maybe they were going to try to get the shot, and then after that header, he was able to play it off the bounce.
I can tell you very quickly a list of my childhood costumes. So we had two-time Red Power Ranger, we had Darth Maul, we had a werewolf, and we had a long strike from LaRose, a bit high and wide. I did not.
That was a costume?
I did not dress up as a long strike from LaRose, but the last costume I remember, I think it was age 10, maybe even a bit younger than that, but yeah, it had to be, I think it was age 10. That might have been my very last costume. As there's a good long ball up the pitch. These teams don't want to hear about costumes.
No, they do not. And how about another slide tackle right there?
The signal is goal kick.
And
Dolphins bench
yeah,
loving
just
that
say you
work
can hear it from
defensively
up
from
here.
Beaton. Beaton is so adept at those sliding challenges. I'm not sure I've seen him whistle for a foul once, and that time he's able to disrupt the potential cross, send it off an attacker, and over the end line.
Inside the box as well. We always talk about how dangerous that is to be doing that inside the box, and he does it to perfection.
But, Nick, my final costume ever that I can remember was Scream. And I had the mask that allows you to pump the fake blood.
Oh, yes.
Well,
yes.
I was afraid it would get on my face. And
I had that too.
I made my father drain it because I was afraid the blood would get on my face.
Okay.
So I was effectively afraid of my own Halloween costume.
Isn't that the intention, I guess?
I guess. There's a good cross. A header toward goal is high. Big chance there off the header for Braden Brown.
Talked about Brown earlier with 7 goals in the season. Almost made number 8 right there on that header attempt.
Well, I may have been scared of my costume, but that was a scary moment for the Dolphins right there. Crowd really into this one, Nick. They are vibrating the bleachers with every shot attempt.
Well, we talked about it too. With it's also with it being senior day, these games tend to be very, high pace, high action, and very vocal from the audience in attendance.
Dolphins.
Whether that vocal words are good or bad, but
Let's put it this way, Nick. I would say at least half the time, I would not put a hot microphone in the crowd.
no.
I would say we are better off with the microphones right where they are. And
Mhm.
I have to admit, I'm not the safest place. Arslan sends it back. Medito had a lot of pressure coming in and needed to get rid of it with Brown bearing down.
I was trying to think of some of my old Halloween costumes, but I can't really think of it. It's probably for the best.
Maybe one day we can do staff coordinated character T-shirts. I'm not going costume.
I was gonna say, if there was a game on Halloween, does the staff dare dress up in a costume coming to the game to work?
Well, if the staff includes me, then no.
Well, you definitely would. I know that.
As long as I'm here, anybody in costume would be shamed. Though I can tell you at least 2 people who I guarantee you would dress up in costume. Which 2?
Is one doing a camera right now?
Do you think Pat is going to show up in a costume?
I think if you give it the opportunity,
There is no chance Pat would show up in a
I
costume.
think give it the opportunity, he could.
All right, so Pat just heard his name. There's no chance. There are 2
Okay.
people.
All right, so then you
There are
can
2 people on this crew who I'm certain would show up in
Are
costume.
they here today?
They're here today. One is down by the field, and the other is in the other room.
Okay, so I know one. What was the one down the field? Okay. Okay.
Sam and Joe 100% would show up in costume. 100% would do it.
Okay. I picked you up on Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that
Right.
was easy. you had to look around. You had to look around to find Sam down by the field.
I
but
thought she was in another room. That's why.
she's showing up in costume for sure,
Yeah.
as is Joe. I mean, Joe dressed up as, I believe, Mario for Halloween this past year. Or last year now. Long throw. Off of Torres and cleared away.
Thank you for saying Mario the right way.
Oh, yeah. If anyone says Mario,
Don't get
Yeah.
me sorry about that.
they're the Super Mario Brothers, not the Super Mario Brothers.
Mario.
I'll tell you, though, Nick, I was at Super Nintendo World not too long ago in early September, right before our first
Ooh.
game. As
How about that spin move?
nifty dribbling there by Chimini. But I was at Super Nintendo World, and believe it or not, there are some fools who are out there saying Mario.
I'm certain they are.
You know, it's actually surprising to me that I never dressed up as Mario for Halloween. My sister and I grew up huge Mario Brothers fans, big Nintendo fans.
You were telling me you had some of the movies as well.
Well, she, for my birthday, got me the official 1993 poster, the double-sided official theatrical poster of the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993. It rests above my headboard in my bedroom. I did tell you I was a bit unusual.
Just a bit.
Right next to my full-scale model of King Dakar. Rest in peace, or more appropriately, rust in pieces.
I remember.
And again, a good defensive play by the Dolphins to send that one off a night and earn themselves a goal kick.
You had that game day at softball last year where you lost your keys with your King Dakar keychain. You have it right there. You should show me.
Yes,
And-
a bit scuffed.
But I remember, I think it was one of the baseball players found it, and I said, "Oh, hey Joe, I have something that belongs to you."
That is quite unusual. One person calling the game about 500 feet away in the press box, another one behind the plate, both able to see the field.
Yeah.
That tree will be trimmed this year. I would anticipate us calling softball from the press box this year.
Interesting.
We can't see the full field, though. Meanwhile, the Knights moving in, attempt a long.
Yeah, because what can't you see in the is it down the first baseline mostly?
Part of the outfield.
Oh, right. It would not the first base. I'm sorry. It would be the
That
outfield.
was David Aprea on that last shot. Knights with 4 shots on goal thus far. 5 corner kicks have yet to score. The Dolphins lead it 1-0. And while Queens has had some really good chances, the Dolphins have converted on their lone opportunity.
I spoke about this earlier. This has been going on the entire half so far. The intensity of these two teams has been off the charts right now. It's back and forth action, and it hasn't stopped. They haven't really, taken their foot off the gas.
I think they got the sense early that the officials were going to let them play, and they've taken advantage. It's been an entertaining game from the start. There's a good clearance by Medito. Chance for the Knights to cross here. And again, the Dolphins cutting off that lane.
Multiple times we've said that so far.
Ball still in the midfield. Kasha got a piece of it. Ball on the near side now. Villa short pass. Back on the foot of Harding. Not once, but twice. He sends it toward the center of the pitch for Wagner. Long pass up the pitch, rolling toward goal, and Romero Estacio is there. There are some tough names on here, Nick, that aren't on the pronunciation guide.
Yeah.
You say that like you were well aware.
No. But I'm certain. I did take a little bit of a glance earlier on.
To be fair, Nick, I have to admit, if they didn't record the pronunciation of their name on media day, it was effectively a free-for-all.
Here's a good, speaking of free-for-alls, here comes a chance for the Dolphins.
Arslan, met by a pair of Knights trying to sneak through there, couldn't make it. 2.5 to go, first half. Lopez in there with a sliding challenge. Cimini with it, and he puts it ahead of everyone. Just over 2 minutes to go in the first half from Dolphins Soccer Park. And the Dolphins nearly had the takeaway. Down goes Lopez, and the clock is stopped. A yellow card is shown, and Lopez remains down.
Yeah, you can tell right there that was going to get called as soon as the play happened.
Tell you, I've banged my shin on a barbell or a weight a time or two in my life. I can't imagine that taking that shin-to-shin contact on a sliding challenge is very pleasant.
No. Can't be. That's why if we played the faculty and staff games, I would stay clear of any potential.
I thought you were going to say I would stay clear of me because I'm coming in with the hard contact. Yeah, there's no coordination for me in terms of footwork. Not a dancer, not a soccer player. LaRose into the box, headed away. And the Knights will send it skyward into the midfield. Perea got to it. He went down.
Yeah, I think everyone was expecting a call, but nothing was there.
Well, I think it's fair to say that Queens has been unhappy with a lot of the no calls in this one, maybe even some of the fouls.
There's a call there.
Yeah, I mean, that one, without a doubt, is going to draw a whistle, and Mesrar will receive a yellow card. I think we're at that point now, Nick. The official has shown a couple of yellows. Teams may look to dial it back just a bit.
You don't want to get a potential of a second yellow. Getting someone out of this game where one team would be down a man.
We don't have the card tallies directly in front of us, but you're at that point in the season now where if you end up with a bunch of yellows, you could miss a game.
Right.
And I'm putting myself on the spot here. I think the number is 6. I think. It's either 5 or 6.
And that's really big for the Dolphins, especially because with this late in the season, you're fighting for that playoff spot. You don't want to be losing players.
That one headed back into the midfield. 90 seconds to go in this first half. And again, the ball rolls back into the Queens end of the pitch. Meanwhile, Nick, we have a goal in Buffalo. Deauville over Stack 1-0.
Okay.
That goal coming in about the 20th minute. If Deauville wins that match, Dolphins have their backs up against the wall. 1 minute to go in the first half in the College of Staten Island. Dolphins still with a 1-goal lead. Could very well take their time here and perhaps bleed out the rest of the clock in this first half. Beaten toward the top of the box, and it ends up in the hands of Shahada. Under 30 seconds to go in the half. Ball punted into the midfield. It pinballs around, takes a bad bounce, and there to clear it away is Medito.
What a play right there, Joe.
He had to make that play without committing a foul, and with 10 seconds to go, the Knights are running short on time. It's going to be a long throw into the box, headed away by the Dolphins. A couple more seconds for a long strike, but that one is not close, off the foot of Johnson. And we have reached halftime with the Dolphins leading by a goal, as we get one more look at a very dangerous moment there for the Dolphins. An unlucky bounce does not yield a shot, and we have reached halftime with the Dolphins leading 1-0. With that, we head to break for a message from the sponsors of Flow College. When we come back, Nick and I return to headset for the final 45 minutes of this NCAA Division II men's soccer matchup in East Coast Conference play. It's the Dolphins 1 and the Knights 0 at halftime.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's gonna listen? You're not gonna get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You can vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
We've learned a lot from him, and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Give me a break it! Break it!
Can I have a hug? What's your favorite subject?
Math.
When you spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country.
What's up, big man? You good?
It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
We are
Penn State.
From signing day to game day,
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
The NCAA sponsors 90 national championships each year, none of which could happen without officials. There is an urgent need for sports officials across the country, as they are retiring 4 times faster than they are coming in, leaving shortages at all levels of sport. The NCAA recognizes the importance of officiating on the student-athlete experience and is dedicated to the recruitment and retention of new officials for all sports. There are many great reasons to become an official. Stay in shape and get paid to do so. Meet new people and build relationships within a tight-knit community. Give back to the sport you love by creating a fair atmosphere and upholding the integrity of the game. Say yes to officiating. Visit ncaa.org/say yes to officiating for more information on how to get started.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Joe Foreman and Nicholas Pavona back with you here on CSI Sportsnet as we begin the second half. You may have heard my voice very faintly moments ago. I grabbed the wrong headset, Nick. I had Coach Mandolia's headset. So
yeah, me confused.
We'll get that nice and far away. Panic spread across the commentary desk for a few moments there, but we're good to go as the second half is ready to get started. College of Staten Island leading Queens College 1-0 at the start of half number 2. Peterson LaRose with a Dolphins goal in a first half that was largely controlled by Queens, Nick. You could make the case the Knights very easily could be up a goal or two in this game, but the Dolphins came up big when the situation called for it, disrupting a couple of shots and getting a huge save from Carlos Romero Estacio after a giveaway right in front of him. And that really set the tone early because the Dolphins then scored, went ahead by a goal, and they've been largely on defense since. They may have bent in some situations. They have not broken yet.
Yeah, and we saw a great goal as well from Peterson LaRose, one where he had to get past a couple defenders after initial shot was blocked. Good footwork, got it past the goalkeeper for the first goal and the only goal of this game. And you mentioned it, it feels like the Dolphins, despite what's happened in terms of time possession and them being down in certain categories, they have the most important category right now, and that's the lone goal of this game.
Meanwhile, we were discussing during the first half that there is another very important game to CSI soccer going on right now. On the women's side of things, the Dolphins playing Queens College to a draw here at Dolphin Soccer Park before we came on the air for this men's game. And because of that draw, it is very likely the Dolphins would need a win by St. Thomas Aquinas College over Queens in Buffalo to keep their playoff hopes very much alive. Spartans fell behind 1-0. Right before the half, they get even, 1-1, score at the half at Dobson Field in Buffalo.
We'll have a clearer picture of the ECC for the women after today, with still a couple more games left on their regular season for most of those teams.
If the men were to win this game, that would really give them firm control over their fate with 3 games to go, as that one off the free kick is headed toward the end line. It rolls over, and it's going to be a corner kick for the Knights here. But we mentioned it during the pregame. This is not a must-win for men's soccer. Queens has not yet lost a conference game, 4-0-1. So they're looking to remain unbeaten against the ECC. But the Dolphins have UDC, Mercy, and Damon left. Corner kick brought in by Romero Estacio. And I think if you're the Dolphins, looking at the records of the teams you have left, as we have some words exchanged, and players being separated now. Queens bench telling their guys not to waste time, trailing by a goal. It looked like nothing more than a verbal exchange, but a lot of players had to get in the middle there. Didn't see who the Dolphin was that was on one side of it, but it looked like words are being exchanged with Andrew Johnson.
Not the president?
No. No AI here. I've seen far too much AI pervading my YouTube feed. YouTube is the only social media I use. Spend, I don't know, I'd say maybe 30 minutes a day scrolling around, and when it's bedtime, we'll throw the YouTube on autoplay on the TV, catch up on some recommended videos as LaRose looks to cross, and it's over everybody. But the point is, Nick, some of what I'm seeing is rather troubling. We won't go into details, but what AI can do, and with how much of our voices are out there, and in many cases my likeness, it can be a bit troubling as we have a flag.
And Joe, you can see it. It's just getting more chippy and aggressive between these two teams. You can even hear it from the fans in attendance as well.
They're shaking our camera up a bit, but I thought the ruling initially was that the ball rolled over the touchline. Instead, it's a free kick for Queens. Heaney will play it short backwards to Wagner and get it right back. I will say, Nick, with the physicality of this game and for the most part, the excitement of it, we've seen a lot of chances for Queens, though they haven't broken through. Of course, the Dolphins' goal here at home. This crowd is really into this one.
Another free kick now, this time for CSI.
I think when you get a big-time CUNY rivalry and a senior day matchup with some playoff implications, it creates the perfect recipe for a crowd just like this one.
From what I've heard earlier on, I'm sure there is a good contingent of Queens fans here as well, so they made the trip here to cheer on their team. And we saw it in the first half. They weren't very happy with the officials and some of the calls made in that first half.
It's not an overly difficult trip from Flushing, depending on what time you make that drive. I'll tell you, though, I've always had a much easier time traveling to Yankee Stadium than Citi Field.
Yeah.
I think when you get close to the stadium, Citi Field is much more convenient, but getting, into that area before parking, Yankee Stadium is a breeze usually. There's a good ball for LaRose. LaRose working toward the end line and could not find any room. So that one was played back to Shahada. I think it was Harding who got in there between LaRose and goal, sending one on to the foot of his keeper.
Fortunately for those two teams, no have to worry about making the drive out to either of those stadiums.
Yeah.
The way October's been going.
Well, I'm a Phillies fan. I made the trip to Philadelphia on October 5th. Big fat L on that one. And that's the reason I wasn't here for the game against Caldwell, as there's a good ball, setting up a scoring chance for Queens. Medito came in and disrupted things. Udo never got a shot off.
Yeah, he forced him to try to angle his shot, and because of that, he kind of bounced it off, not the way he wanted to, and it went out, a play.
Ball played into the midfield. Lopez. Back to LaRose, and very quickly he gets it to Atanga. That one headed by Wagner onto the foot of LaRose. LaRose looking to play Arslan through toward the end line. He puts one on goal, which is easily saved by Shahada.
It's crazy to think, though, going back to baseball, that's pretty much winding down. We're almost at the World Series.
We're right about where we thought we'd be when the season began. Dodgers back in the World Series. I think the AL was a bit more open.
Oh, speaking of open, almost open right there.
There was an opening there, and Romero Estacio was able to cover that up. And
that, at least the AL has been fun. Obviously, one of the teams eliminated the Yankees. That was unfortunate for me. But at the end of the day, the series has been great to watch as a fan of baseball. And we'll see. Maybe one of those teams give the Dodgers a run for their money.
Well, as a businessman, I'm not opposed to a Dodgers appearance in the World Series. Ohtani is always big.
You wouldn't mind the Mariners, though.
He's a big seller when it comes to the jerseys.
Is Cal Raleigh somewhat, doing better?
Cal Raleigh is probably, if Ohtani is 1A, then Cal Raleigh's 1B this season. I don't think there's been a more movable jersey than Cal Raleigh this year. Without exception.
I was going to say, I would assume it's those two, maybe Judge. Maybe at that.
Judge definitely one who's near the top. I think when you have players who recently burst onto the scene like Raleigh, that makes for a really in-demand item.
And plus, you're also, the historical season he had too. That's,
Of course.
that also factors in.
I think Ohtani with the worldwide appeal.
Well, I would think after what he did last night too. I don't think we've seen a performance where a guy hits 3 home runs in a game, goes 6 innings. I think he had 10 strikeouts too.
That was certainly a performance from the ages, or for the ages, I should say. And I have to admit, Nick, wasn't aware of it until you just told me.
I wasn't aware. Well, we were calling that football game last night, so we really didn't get to catch much of that game. But I saw the stat line when I woke up this morning. I said, wow, missed a good one, huh? Although, albeit, I'm not really rooting for the Dodgers, but that's pretty much obvious.
There's a cross headed away by Medito, and a second time by Torres. Yeah, once my team's out of it, I'm generally out of it. I don't really follow much further. Like, I didn't watch any of the NBA Finals last year. I was just sick.
I definitely didn't.
Sick over the fact that the Knicks didn't make it.
That season's starting up soon as well.
Yeah, I think
Wednesday, you said, right?
Yep. I'm sure I'll be there. I'll be at MSG on Monday for the Rangers game. I don't think I attended 4 games all of last season. I will have attended the first 3 home games and 1 preseason game.
Well, let's hope they can get a goal for you in that game.
Yeah, I'm 0 for 6 regular season periods, and then they had, I believe it was a 3-1 lead or a 4-1 lead. I think it was 4-1 in the preseason game, and they lost 5-4 in regulation.
Heard of to think that team gets shut out the first 3 games of the season to start at home.
It's been a rough start,
Yep.
Admittedly. Not really going well for me right now, but
it's always the Knicks, I guess.
I'm never the optimist as the free kick is headed out of danger by the Dolphins. I think the Knicks should be good.
Hopefully.
And hopefully, CSI Athletics takes
They
us
got
into
a shot.
November, but yeah, way up is Shahada. No danger there.
It's a good thing he was up because that could have been really dangerous.
We've seen Arslan in the middle of a lot of Dolphins scoring chances, whether it's been with a defensive play or with a timely run, a good pass. Always seems to play a role. There's a nifty move there. Good job by Harding to stay with him, and nobody on the receiving end of that pass.
And you usually are good with in terms of remembering games. What was the game that he had the game winner earlier this season?
Well, Lopez had a game winner.
That was Lopez, okay.
Yeah, Lopez had a game winner against Georgian Court.
Okay. That's the game I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Definitely a top soccer call in recent memory for sure, and even all time. You don't get many of those as Mesrar is hurt.
That's the same injury he had earlier too, Joe.
Yeah, he is down and not moving. Dolphins on the attack. And once the Dolphins send this one over the sideline, they'll stop play. And yeah, they give him some time. LaRose circling back. They stop the clock at 33:25. So Mesrar, you could hear it immediately in a lot of pain. Trainer has not been waved out yet. And of course, this is something you never want to see, but especially not on senior day when Mesrar and the other seniors are being celebrated.
Does get up, which is a good sight.
Question is whether or not he's going to stay in. And Nick, right out of the second half, we have a goal in Buffalo. Dieuville very quickly scores. Now, I have to admit, they've put that goal in the first half. I'm not sure if there was a stats issue or what, but they've added a goal at 44:59 in the first half of that Saints and Spartans game to make it 2-1. Officially, the second half hasn't started yet, at least not by my view on the live stats.
So maybe the goal happened right at the last second, it sounds like?
That would be remarkable.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure because I checked. There were 45 minutes on the clock in the live stats, and now it's 2-1. We had 1-1 at halftime at last check. But the score now reads 2-1 Saints. We'll monitor that. We're under 33 minutes to go here at Dolphin Soccer Park.
That's a great play right there to keep the ball in front, but Dolphins, trying to fight their way out of that corner. Just once again, a player is down.
Yeah, it's Lopez. And I've mentioned it more than once already this season, but he's so good at keeping a center of gravity low to the turf, controlling the ball, and drawing whistles. But he's going to head to the bench here. Nicholas Tawaya is going to check in for him.
Dolphin substitutions. Now entering the game, number 9, Alonso Villegas, and number 17, Nicholas Tawaya.
Alonso Villegas into the game as well. Karai Arslan to the bench. Shahada taking his time with it here. Knights get to work in the midfield. Up the far side. Johnson, short pass, quick redirect, center of the pitch. Dolphins converge. Kasha to the near side. Udo had it knocked away. Villa there, left-footed cross. Headed away by Tawaya. The ball rolls toward the corner. And again, the Knights control. They play it into the 18. Beaton sends it up in the air. And a foul is whistled against Villegas. Knights working toward the corner again. A lot of blue in that area.
Another Dolphin player down.
Yeah, we've seen this now a couple of times in the last few minutes. It's LaRose down this time.
That's not one you want to have right there, Joe, but he got tangled up on that play.
They want the official to stop it. He has not yet.
Now they do.
And if you're the Knights, you can't allow a lot of time to come off without vocalizing your displeasure. Trailing by a goal every second counts. It will be a free kick for Staten Island here. And Nick, they've taken that goal off in Buffalo. I'm not sure what happened, but it looks like that goal was mistakenly added to the stat line. Not quite sure how, but the score has reverted back to 1-1, and they have put in the second half starters. So they're about ready to get underway at Dobson Field with half number 2.
We spoke about it earlier, too, with that game. The Dolphins can't afford D'Youville to get a point in that game, so a tie would do the Saints wonders.
But the tiebreaker, a tie certainly helps. And now the Knights with a chance to perhaps level the score here on Staten Island. Soto Gonzalez crosses it in, headed on goal, and stopped by Romero Estacio.
Didn't look like he got enough on that one, Joe, on the header. He gave Estacio a chance to get that save.
Romero Estacio waving the Dolphins up the pitch. And they whistle play dead. I'm not sure if they got Romero Estacio.
They did.
For taking too much time?
I think that's what it was. They've stopped the clock at 29:50. So that leads to a corner, I'm assuming.
Well, Nick, they're setting up a free kick at the top of the 18.
Oh, wow.
They stopped the clock at 29:50. This is not far beyond a penalty kick.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I haven't.
The Dolphins are clamoring for a corner.
And I think with a couple of injuries that required stoppages and a bit more, Knights now get into one. The shot's blocked.
That's a great block.
And again a whistle.
Yeah.
Everyone out on the pitch right now appears perplexed.
I'm perplexed.
Are they about to replay the free kick?
I don't know.
they've stopped the clock again at 29:34. The head referee is consulting with the side judge.
I didn't see anything.
They're now heading over to the scorer's table and conversing with Stephanie. So
I at least have the start of the play. I didn't see anything that happened, though. It was immediately whistled right after the block happened.
the Dolphins were definitely taking their time ahead of the goal kick, and that drew a whistle. It came at an awkward time where...
Are they conversating about what the Dolphins were clamoring for? Maybe a corner? Or is that... I don't know.
Couldn't tell you. And Nick, again, I don't know if this is live, but according to our live stats, there was just a red card issued to the Spartans in the game against Deauville.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not good.
And it came immediately upon kickoff in the second half. So take that for what it's worth at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on with the live stats.
And
but
Joe, look, they're setting up for a corner now.
So maybe they incorrectly awarded a free kick. And
that's why the Dolphins were...
Yeah, the official had to ask the lines judge the proper
and they added time to the
outcome.
clock.
Yeah, they put 16 seconds on as that one was cleared away, and the Dolphins are awarded a goal kick.
I don't remember being this the last time I remember being this confused, and you know exactly what instance I'm bringing up in basketball. That free throw that we saw with Aaron.
Well,
it was explained
that
afterwards.
was a stroke of genius after the fact.
Right,
but we didn't know
in
in the moment.
real time, we had no idea what happened.
Well, credit to the officials in that game. They knew what to do with it. I don't know if they got help from the Dolphins bench.
I guess. That was a very weird sequence.
Very weird. Here come the Knights again. Good quick passing. Is the flag up? It is not.
No.
The Dolphins wanted the offsides call. And it will be a Dolphins goal kick.
Yep.
29 minutes to go. The Dolphins protecting a one-goal lead. Haven't had much in terms of possession time since the score, but they've done what they've needed to do defensively and have made some really nice defensive plays, cutting off angles for shots, angles for crosses. They've done some good things, but you get the sense that if Queens continues to get this much time on the attack the rest of the way, eventually they have to break through.
Yeah, I think it's either the Dolphins are going to have to find a way to get maybe a potential second goal because, as you mentioned, the time of possession is definitely going to play a factor at some point.
It's really tough to be outpossessed the way they have for as long as it's been and hold on to a one-goal lead. I think in part as well, the plays we've seen from them defensively, they've put themselves in those positions by maybe being a bit less aggressive on the press, knowing the situation, and realizing that this one goal needs to be viewed as precious. Can't let that lead get away, especially not soon after you score. And is there a whistle there? Play on, they say. And the Dolphins...
Oh, man.
I'll tell you, Nick, the frustration definitely beginning to boil over.
Yeah.
For Queens.
Clock is going to stop again.
And I think we're trending in a direction right now where you could very well see a red card later in this game somewhere. It's getting physical. Players are getting frustrated. And I think the most important thing...
They might be giving him a card.
I think the most important thing when it comes to making those calls is consistency. And whether you have it in what you view as a positive direction or a negative direction, consistency is king.
Yeah.
And I think what has drawn some very demonstrative reactions is what these teams perceive as a bit of inconsistency.
And that sequence right there, you saw there was the no call towards the corner, and then immediately after that happened, you could see the frustration boiling over for the Knights, and it's been like this most of the game, and for both teams. So it's really tough, and you don't want to see players, leaving the field or like any type of thing at this point. It's especially this late in the season too, because we talked about not wanting to have certain scenarios where you have a certain amount of yellow cards or even red cards. You don't want to have it late in the season too. You're trying to focus on the remainder of the year.
Ball sent a long way up the pitch to Villegas. And to be completely clear, as Villegas tiptoed the sideline and crossed it, he earns the Dolphins a corner.
Yeah, you could see it right there. They were, once again, the Knights were livid.
The Knights are livid, and if they're not careful, they're going to get carded.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll be able to see it on the wide angle. Best I could do here. It's tough really to tell.
It's hard to imagine that Villegas attempting to cross it sent it straight over the end line and over the fence. I think there would have had to have been a deflection in there.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. Mesvar to attempt the corner. It's a good one. Shouldered away by Queens. Tawaya looked to put it on goal. Now Chimini with the long strike. And that's too high. And to be completely clear, Nick, you know, I think I can speak for you here, but I don't think either of us have an opinion one way or the other on calls. It's way too far, and neither of us by any means are experts. That being said, for what occurred right in front of the Knights bench, they were very upset.
Yeah. I will say, and I'll speak for myself, I don't know if you'll speak the same, but this is probably the most physical game we've seen from both sides, I think, all year.
And there have been only 11, well, actually, that's the wrong box score. Let's go to the correct game. Get the foul tally for you. 19 fouls. I was about to say, 11 seems pretty low.
Yeah.
Torres.
Honestly feels like more than 19, too.
It could be.
It definitely could be more. It should be.
It could be, only because the live stats with the poor internet don't update the way they should. But I have 19, and I just gave it a refresh. We'll see how it does. Meanwhile, the Knights moving forward into the attacking third. Working up toward the corner. Udo on the run, will not get there. Nineteen. And just 2 yellow cards. 1 for each side. Mesvar and Johnson. Crowd wanted another whistle there, Nick.
They certainly did.
We have a lot of aspiring officials in the stands. I don't think that one was loud enough to come through as the Knights are setting up for a potential chance here, looking for a shooting lane. Udo working against Torres. Look to cross. Bodied away by the Dolphins. Chance for a second shot, and they score! What a strike from inside the 18 to put that one over Romero Estacio and into the upper 90.
That was an incredible shot, Joe. The angle of that one to even get it through, as you see right here on the replay. Unbelievable score to tie this game at 1 apiece. And that had to feel good if you're a Knights fan or even Knights player, because of all the frustrations that have happened in this game, they finally break even and tie this game at 1.
Arvin Pereira with a rocket shot from halfway in the 18. And it was a sharp angled shot as well. He had to put that one over Romero Estacio beneath the bar. He still managed to tuck it into the upper 90 on the right side. Really good shot. A lot of power on it and perfect placement. No chance for the Dolphins goalkeeper. And we said it before, Nick. You got the sense that if Queens continued to get the amount of time and possession of the ball that we've seen since the first Dolphins goal, eventually they were going to score. There just was no way to keep a team like this off the board, conceding the amount of chances you had. And for the Dolphins, since the goal, not really much in terms of time on the attack. Really no quality chances, and the Knights finally break through. So it's a new game with about 24 and a half minutes to go, officially 24-27 on the clock. Dolphins and Knights tied at a goal apiece. And if you're CSI, I mentioned it before, not a must-win. 1 point helps you, for sure. That being said, you'd love to strike for one more. Same goes for Queens, looking for a 5th conference win. Wolfgang Alvarado in for Staten Island, replacing Ty Torres. Udo with the assist. Pereira on the goal. Knights looking for more. Wanted a whistle there. They get it. I think that's the right call, Nick.
Yeah.
Mesrar didn't like it, but he grabbed. I think that's the right call. These two teams getting a bit more chippy now as that's in the box. Dangerous position and a shot wide. Wagner nearly gave Queens the lead off a quickly taken free kick. What followed was an immediate setup for Wagner in front, and he put that attempt just wide.
You'll see it right here. That shot just going left of the net. But you said it, Joe, with the way that this last couple minutes have been, it's getting a little bit more chippy, a lot more physical.
Udo came soaring in, and now it's Alvarado waiting for some attackers to join him up the field. Chamini, short pass. Alvarado, Villegas, lost it momentarily and sent it over the touchline. Udo with the heel, found Mesrar, not his intended target there. Mesrar working up the sideline, trying to turn it inside. And it was sent over by Queens. Dolphins will throw. And Nick, we're seeing some of the aggressiveness that may have been lacking a bit for the Dolphins in the one-goal game. They're looking a bit more energetic now, maybe needed a bit of a push. Not really the form you wanted it to come in with a game-tying goal, but Dolphins now with possession in the attacking third. Alvarado gets sent down, and I think that's the right call as well, Nick. I don't know.
It was very late, though. I think
Yeah,
that's the only problem with that.
I could see that. I think what the players are saying is early in this game, they let a lot go, and the players took that as, okay, you're going to let this go, you're going to let that go. Let's try and push the boundaries a bit.
And that's exactly why it's, you know, you don't like to see that happen in this game, because now you're thinking, okay, I can get away with anything.
Asensio Cueva with it on his foot. Long strike, headed on the way in by Beaton, and it ends up wide. Well, how about that? If you deflect that one and the goalkeeper's moving the wrong way.
Yeah.
That would have been like an old hockey deflection. 21:35 to go from Dolphin Soccer Park. All knotted up at 1. Tawaya nearly put that one right in the path of Alvarado.
It's a corner. It should be. I thought for sure it went out. It did.
They're saying throw, Nick.
Okay.
You can run it back. Maybe the tight view. I don't think we have the corner.
No.
But
I thought for sure it was going to be a corner kick right there for CSI.
Dolphins thought so.
Next stoppage, we'll get a closer look.
Ball bouncing through the midfield toward the far side. Good play there by Atanga. Here comes Villegas. Villegas may have a chance to cross. And Arslan goes down. The Dolphins wanted a foul, but I don't know about that, Nick. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think he tripped. And if he doesn't, he's in prime scoring position. I think that's a good no call. Udo moving forward.
Yeah, he tripped, Joe. We'll have a great view of it on the replay.
Cross headed up into the scoreboard.
Here's a second look.
Crowd really getting into it.
Yeah, clear as day, you can tell he tripped. That's an unfortunate break for CSI because you mentioned it. They had a really good chance if he didn't stumble on that play.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't stumble, that's a really dangerous moment.
Speaking of dangerous, that was almost dangerous right there.
We're under 20 minutes to go in this one.
It's a closer look.
Knights with it in the midfield. Sent in the air by Shahada and out of play off
Souvenir.
the top of the fence.
Well, at least that one didn't go out of play.
That one placed perfectly off the top of the fence and skips into the crowd. Throw in by Asensio Cueva for Villegas. Villegas with a good touch. He was grabbed. Oh, boy.
How did they not call that?
They missed that one. They missed that one. They've been good on the last three. I think they
my
missed that one.
goodness.
Yeah, that was not good. It was pretty
I'm not
blatant.
trying to be biased, but
Well, to be fair,
That's
we've said multiple times the Knights have been on the wrong end of a few, but they were on the positive end of that one. I think there was certainly a grab there, and the old chicken wing. The old chicken wing and the jersey grab.
Yeah.
All in one. The 2-for-1. Dolphins will throw. Under 18.5 minutes to play. Alvarado for Beaton, and he sent that one straight off of gun. Cimini with a sliding attempt. The ball ends up with Queens. Braden Brown goes down.
No foul again.
Play on. Well, I'll tell you, Nick, this crowd is in a frenzy. Look at the
camera. Look at it.
Wow. Be careful, Pat. Dolphins on the move now. Villegas for Tawaya, and he is offsides.
I don't think I've ever seen the camera like that.
I don't think I've ever seen spectators for. I don't think I've ever seen
Pat is
spectators
asking
for both
security.
sides. Spectators for both sides this invested in a game. A regular season game, I don't think I've seen a crowd quite like this one. To their credit, it's been a lot of fun here at the College of Staten Island, and still over 17 minutes to go. Queens with it off what was a free kick for the offsides. Played long up the pitch. Headed by Medito. Alvarado there waiting. Alvarado up the far side. Arslan sent one over to Tawaya, a bit too long, and Wagner gets there for Queens. Pereira off the head of Asensio Cueva and onto the foot of Alvarado. And the Dolphins, with a bit of a miscommunication there, concede the throw. It's a short one. Heaney toward the center of the pitch. And Gelly moving forward toward the far side now. Gives it up. Short pass back toward the center of the pitch and over toward the sideline again. And looks like the Knights waved the white flag on that attacking play. Just sent it straight over. There was no pending Queen substitution.
Dolphins have two players.
LaRose and Lopez. Just over 16 minutes to go. Dolphins and Knights tied at 1. Dolphins to throw here. Villegas ends up down on the turf. Wanted to call it and get it. LaRose, the Dolphin goal scorer. Pereira, the goal scorer on the other side.
I think we're at the point, too, Joe, where these players can't expect to get fouls called at this point. They're going to just have to play on.
I think there's a bit to be said for trying to draw that whistle with your reaction to contact. But if it comes at the expense of playing on, that's where it becomes a problem. Especially if you end up escalating things, and when Queens was trailing, their bench was making that point. Don't take time away from us. Corner on the way from the Knights. Headed by Beaton, straight up into the air. Headed back the other way by Queens and straight skyward by the Dolphins. Ball loose, shot blocked. And the Knights wanted a handball. Nick will get a second look. You'd hate to see a game decided on a handball in that situation.
I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. This clock has stopped, so that will give us a good chance.
I think we should have a look. Slow it down enough, and I think we'll get a look. Meanwhile, the clock has been stopped with 14:55 to go.
Let's see.
What do you have for us? No way.
No way.
No way it's a handball. It was off the hip. It was dangerous for sure, but did not contact anywhere outside of the torso. There's some nice dribbling by Lopez. He gets stonewalled Villegas now looking for LaRose. And that was last touched by the Dolphins. 14.5 to play from Dolphin Soccer Park. Throw in for the Knights. Finds Mesrar. Headed by LaRose. Lopez trying to control. Could not. And the flag is up. Offsides. We say it all the time, Nick, you and I as commentators, miss overtime. I don't believe you ever called a soccer match with me when overtime was in play.
No.
If you did, it was once. Meanwhile, the Dolphins have it, taking their time. Alvarado back to Mesrar. And now LaRose. LaRose picking up some speed. LaRose shot with the left foot is too high, but we've mentioned how, or at least I have, how I miss overtime. Some great moments forged in overtime here at the College of Staten Island. We understand why they don't do it, but should this game end 1-1, 180 minutes of soccer and 2 ties, that's tough for me as a commentator, Nick. I have to admit that's tough.
Yeah. So one thing I don't like about some soccer games sometimes ending in a tie. I don't like it.
I will say that in conference play, at least you earn a point.
It does, yeah. At the end of the day, it does matter.
The draws definitely have an impact, especially late in the season. It's hard to believe that we're more than halfway through October now.
Dolphins will get the free kick.
I think a yellow card might be coming out here, Nick.
I think you're right.
I thought I saw the official reaching, and is that a red? Oh,
That's yellow.
The red, it's a second yellow.
The Dolphins will be up the man.
It is a second yellow issued to Kevin Johnson. He's done. Wow. The Dolphins will have 13 minutes with a man advantage. What a huge turn late in this game. And we said it, Nick, the way the game was being officiated after a lot of the early contact was allowed to go, I would not have been shocked if we saw a red card, and there it is. Free kick, Staten Island off the foul, followed by a red. CSI with a man advantage, 13 minutes. Mesrar shot blocked. It rebounds straight up into the air. Alvarado tripped up. And the Knights will send this one into the midfield. And they do keep it in. Nicely done by Brown. Brown able to connect with Gunn. His pass blocked and again beaten with a good sliding challenge, preventing that attack from continuing forward.
Does the clock stop once again?
They've stopped it for a Queen substitution.
Yep. That's a good thing for me because I forgot to start the clock.
Well, you start that clock now.
You know what it is? Like, I started, I'm looking good, and then once we had the substitutions, I'm trying to watch the game intently. I'm like, oh, wait, I have to remember this.
You're focusing too intently on doing your job to do 2 at once. It's understandable. Scoreboard returns come basketball.
That's true.
We could give it a run on Wednesday, give it a test run, make sure it works. Probably best to do that. And if it works, we can use it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It does keep the score for us as well. You won't have to worry about the goals either.
That's true.
Though, to be fair, if you can't keep the score yourself for a soccer
That's
match,
bad.
I may have to fire you.
I'm sure you had to worry about that on Wednesday somewhat with the women's game. With the amount of goals that was scored.
Yeah. I didn't miss any, thankfully. It helps when they're all Dolphin goals.
That's also true.
Off the corner, the Dolphins body it out of danger. And now Villegas one-on-one. Harding there defensively. Villegas lost it.
Yeah, he overran it. That's one of those, Joe, where you see it in baseball a lot, where you're looking to make that double play. Instead of looking at the ball, you were looking towards the base.
That flag goes up again.
That one, you were looking where the defender was instead of looking where you had the ball.
Yeah, I think he knew he had a second defender closing in from behind. So the lone focus was not beating his marker in front. And it's tough when you have the ball up there alone as a forward, 2 defenders closing in. The crowd gets into it, no doubt. They see a player moving in toward goal and not a lot of bodies between the attacker and the net.
Yeah, As I said, the Dolphins got to be careful right there.
Spectators are becoming displeased, Nick.
Yeah.
You don't want to upset the Fanatics. What do we call the Knights fans? The Cavalry?
Yeah, I almost said the Meta Knights, like from Mario. I almost did it, Joe. I almost did it.
I would have never known what you meant if you said that.
Yeah.
So now we do have a name. We cover another team that goes by the mascot, the Knights, and we call their heavy offensive set the Order of Chivalry. But I feel like I've already used that, so I can't also call that the fan base for Queens. I'm sure they have a name for it.
I'm sure they do.
Thought the Fanatics was pretty clever when they came up with that. Looks good on a T-shirt.
I'll have to find my Fear the Fin shirt at some point for basketball. It is a short sleeve, but I can find something underneath.
I was told we're getting polos for the indoor sports, but I have not received a new polo since I returned.
This is the last one I've gotten.
And that's not even
it's not
really a polo.
Yeah.
I do like our TLC.
Yeah, I do like these. These are really nice.
Our TLC lightweight quarter zips, but we need some Nike branded polos. Nike is our outfitter. We need some Nike branded merch. Here comes Cimini. Villegas had to come back and get it. Tonga had it knocked away, but Lopez meets it. Ball sent over the sideline. Dolphins will set up a throw. And even 10 minutes on the clock. Dolphins and Knights tied at 1 in what has been a very entertaining back and forth game. This is Alvarado. Drops it off. Asensio Cueva. Cimini circles back, working toward the middle of the pitch. Wants LaRose. Couldn't find him. And now the Knights hope to counter. Ball sent up the far side, beaten there, waiting. Short pass, Mesrar. Mesrar looking for Cimini, headed away. Heaney there defensively. Milano looked to play it up the pitch. Eventually it did find Brown. Down Brown goes, play continues. Mesrar moves ahead. Sideline, Alvarado kept it in along the touchline. Put one through the legs of Gunn.
What do they call that? Maybe I didn't know. I think I know the terminology for that. I've seen that in basketball, but I don't think they say that for soccer either.
Probably not. I can't think of any commonly shared
I think
terminology.
I don't want to say the wrong words. I'm not going to say it.
in hockey, they put it one through the 5-hole. Here comes Alvarado. Off a good ball, puts one on goal, and it is stopped by Shahada.
That certainly did go through the 5-hole. That's for sure.
Yeah. Definitely not applicable to soccer.
Yeah.
Though the question becomes, is it applicable if it goes through the legs of the goalkeeper?
It's a good question.
Love my hypotheticals.
It's some that the goalkeepers would not like to answer.
I think if one goes through the legs as a goalkeeper, something went horribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Horribly wrong. It's tough to imagine. It's going to be a free kick for Queens here, just inside the touch line. David Akpan into the game for Queens here. I almost said Stacknick as I was checking the box score up in Buffalo. Ball bouncing around in a dangerous spot. Sent it to the midfield now. Long ball toward the box. Beaton didn't get all of it on the attempted clearance. And now the Knights may have a chance for more. That one sent in the air, headed toward goal by Wagner.
Ooh, Dolphins. That was very close, Joe.
How about that bicycle volley? Alvarado giving chase, and getting there first is Harding. Harding gets away from Alvarado. 7.5 minutes to go. Mesrar breaks things up in the midfield. Lopez controls. Lopez for Cimini. Cimini in the direction of LaRose. He has Villa right there with him. LaRose controls it. Working toward the end line, met by two Knights now. LaRose out of room. And
he
it
got
will
a
be a
corner.
Dolphins corner.
How in the world did he?
Yeah,
how was he able to hold on to that?
If you are the Knights, you did not want to concede a corner out of that.
Yeah.
LaRose really had nowhere to go. And I think the option becomes play one off one of the defenders to earn the corner. But instead, I think Queens just knocked it off his foot and over the end line. Corner from LaRose on the way. It's a long one. Cimini got a lot of it. Looks like the wind knocked it down. And Queens now moving forward quickly and with some room. Here comes Soto Gonzalez. He bends one in the direction of Brown. Mesrar there defensively. Needs to clear it. The Knights wanting a corner, and they will get it.
Yeah.
They will get it. Ball over the touchline, not by much. And with just over 6 minutes to go, Queens will set up for another corner kick. That is number 11 for the Knights. Dolphins with just 2. Shots on goal favor Queens 6-5. Under 6 minutes to play. The corner played a bit shorter toward the corner of the box. Ball through traffic. Wagner with it on his foot, looks to turn toward the corner. Alvarado there defensively, and Wagner runs out of room.
Time will be stopped once again. Trying to see, is that Mesrar again, Joe?
Looks that way, and if so, it's been a really rough afternoon for him. He's been
is.
down several times. They've stopped the clock at 5:37. Mesrar back to his feet now. Looks like he's going to stay in.
They bring LaRose out.
Based on his body language, it looks like he's really being forced to tough this one out.
Yeah.
The clock will run from 5:37. Dolphins and Knights tied at 1. Big late season East Coast Conference match.
Got a chance here, Joe.
Alvarado being forced toward the sideline. Heaney there with him. Cimini with a nice move. Cimini for Mesrar. Mesrar shot is wide. Mesrar made a bid to put the Dolphins in front. Didn't miss it by much. And a collective exhale from the Knights supporters here at Dolphin Soccer Park.
Certainly the case. Look at the move right here. First, Joe leads to the pass, leads to the shot, just wide right of the net.
And Nick, something to keep in mind as we approach the end of this game. Not only are the Dolphins up a man, but Shahada is staring straight into the sun.
Yeah.
And he had to contend with that ahead of the shot. That split second could make a big difference. Alvarado looks to cross. Villegas was there waiting, but it was broken up and sent into the midfield by Queens. Atanga finds Lopez. Lopez shoots, and Lopez shoots it wide. Did Shahada touch it? He did not. Alvarado tried to say he did, but no contact made on that ball. Goal kick for Queens as the action has picked up with just about 4 minutes to go.
That's a good call right there. You just saw on the replay, Joe. He did not touch it.
It's a race toward the ball here, and Shahada will scoop it up. And there's a push. And I thought the side judge was going to call something, but they let it go. Ball with Queens here. Heaney off the head of Beaton. Mesrar lost his footing. Play on. Dolphins have it. Under 3.5 to go. And nobody was there to receive that ball. Now Alvarado has some room. It's broken up.
What a great play right there, Joe.
Big time defensive play by Heaney. And now he works it down toward the corner. Looking for some space. Can't find any. And he splits 2 Dolphins. Cimini there to meet him. And what was the call there? I think they called a foul on the Dolphins, Nick. which would be a free kick right outside the 18.
Yeah.
And it is indeed a free kick. And even 3 minutes on the clock. Big moment in this game. Queens with a set piece and a chance to go in front with just 3 minutes on the clock. Dolphins, keep in mind, do have the man advantage. That makes the counterattack here very dangerous if the Dolphins can control it off of this free kick. I believe that is Villa lined up over the ball. Here we go. And it's broken up on the way in. Villegas with a good first touch, but he can't get to it ahead of Pereira. Harding back toward the top of the 18, headed by the Dolphins. Lopez looking for room, working toward the sideline. And Lopez making his way up the field. Now has to slow it down. Mesrar had it taken away. Soto Gonzalez gets around Chimini. Soto Gonzalez into the box, on target, that ball, and they score! Tommy Gunn on the receiving end of a great ball through traffic, and the Knights have gone in front 2-1 with 2:29 remaining.
What a big goal right there, Joe. How about the setup to get to that spot if you're the Knights? A big goal by Gunn now puts them up 2-1 with 2:29 left in this game. That's a backbreaker for the Dolphins.
I don't know how they fit that ball through, but the Dolphins controlled it at midfield. They lost possession in the center of the pitch, and the Knights wasted no time. Soto Gonzalez up the pitch, finds Gunn. He gets in behind the Dolphins defense, and he puts it past Romero Estacio.
And you got the sense, Joe, that the Dolphins were desperately trying to get that ball past the middle of the pitch because you could see it. Queens was attacking very aggressively. They were getting opportunities. The Dolphins really needed to clear that. They weren't able to do so, and it led to that Knights goal.
That one hurts. If you're the College of Staten Island, a match that you led 1-0, you had an advantage of a man late, about 13 minutes following the red card issued to Johnson, and this Knights team shows you why they're unbeaten. They come from behind, they tie it, and a man down, they take the lead 2-1 with under 2.5 minutes to play. And now, Nick, if you're the Dolphins, nothing to lose. You go all out on the attack here, try and net the equalizer and come away with a point. A point in this game for the Dolphins would have been big. It is not imperative that they come away with a point in this game as much as you'd like to have it. They still have 3 conference matches left, and I think if you don't come away with a point today, it's pretty simple, Nick. You have to win 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is one that really stings because if they're not able to at least get another goal, to at least get a point in this game, it's a game that unfortunately slipped away from their fingers in this one.
I think once the red card was issued with 13 minutes left, you had to feel like you're coming away with a point.
Right.
By no means do you take anything for granted against a very talented Knights team, but I think the right approach there is to think, okay, we have a man advantage. We can't afford to make a critical error, but we should come away with a point in this game. And now the Dolphins are whistled for a foul. And I think, too, what makes that goal a bit more troubling is that it came off of the free kick with the Dolphins controlling. So the Dolphins gained control off of the free kick, got moving up the pitch. You have the Knights in scramble mode at that point. So they didn't have a ton of bodies between midfield and the Dolphins' goal, and they only needed 2 and still managed to score. And it's just a testament to the individual talent of these players, but the Dolphins had numbers there, and you hate to concede a goal in that spot, as the Knights will wisely try and bleed some time off the clock here. Goal kick Staten Island, under 90 seconds to play.
They've got to hurry up.
Dolphins get to work in the midfield. Asensio Cueva. Short pass, Alvarado. Alvarado forced to retreat a bit. 1:05 remaining. Mesrar over the midfield logo. Looking in the direction of Torres. Couldn't connect on that pass. Dolphins do control it again in the midfield. Atonga goes down, whistle comes in. 50 seconds remaining, free kick, Staten Island. Mesrar lining up for the free kick, no time to waste. He plays it toward the 18, bodied away by Queens, cleared back into the midfield with 37 seconds remaining. Atonga toward the box, Medito may have gotten a piece, but again, Queens will clear. 25 seconds remaining, Romero Estacio looking ahead. Connects with Medito, and a whistle came in for a foul against the Dolphins. And Nick,
That's a brutal one, Joe.
Yeah.
That was a great touch, too.
it was. It really was. That's going to do it. And senior day will end in disappointment for the Dolphins. They led it 1-0, but could not hold on to the lead. With 2:29 left, the Knights net a game-winning goal off the foot of Tommy Gunn. Miguel Soto Gonzalez set him up. And with that, the Knights remain unbeaten in conference play, 5-0-1, as they survive the College of Staten Island by a final score of 2-1.
Yeah, a tough break for the Dolphins right here, Joe. They had the 1-0 lead earlier on in the game. We saw Queens trying to battle back and forth going into half. It was a very aggressive game, a very chippy game between the two teams. But at the end of the day, Queens gets the job done, gets the 2-1 victory. And now, as you mentioned it, Joe, for the Dolphins, they essentially now need to win 2 of their next 3 games in order to make the postseason. It's not over yet for this team, but it's going to take a lot for them to get into the postseason.
One game left for us here at home, Nick. You and I back on the call next week as the Dolphins host the University of the District of Columbia. The Dolphins very quickly approaching must-win territory, entering their matchup with the Firebirds, and we'll have that game for you right back here on CSI Sportsnet. But until next time, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Nicholas Pavona on the call with CSI Sportsnet coverage of NCAA Division II men's soccer exclusively on Flow College. Once again, our final score from the College of Staten Island, the Queens College Knights 2 and the CSI Dolphins 1. We thank everyone for joining us for this broadcast and enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.